Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
Okay. Why am I all the way over there? Okay, now I'm in the center. How's everyone? Hello, Jennifer Ray. Hello, Taterbug. Hello, Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not gonna, just as chickens. Just as chickens. Woohoo! I'm glad you're excited, Tater. The audio is out, so just to refresh, so if anybody's new on this story, Aidan Turtleboy Kearney, who spearheaded Karen Read's innocence fraud campaign, I think is one of the big parts of the reasons she was acquitted on the major charges, convicted of OUI. He came under some criticism from Karen Read, some leaked text messages between Karen Read and a stranger supporter who goes by the name Joe Flipperhead. I'm just going to call him Joe Flipperhead. Okay, he's from Philly. And she was saying, actually, you know what? Let me not misquote Karen Read here. She says she was trying to bounce back to normal life, but it's not quite happening. Had a falling out with Aidan, as everyone eventually does. Found out he's been taping our phone conversations and sharing them with people, and then that's the way it's written, and sharing with them with people, and then telling everyone he doesn't understand how I blew him off for Howie Carr, meaning she gave Howie Carr an interview and not him after her trial was over. Some anonymous person, and I'm reading from Innocence Fraud Watch's blog, and she thinks that anonymous person was Aidan Carney himself. Some anonymous person sent David and Alan a 30-minute phone call I had with Aidan that was all recorded without my knowledge. That was the final straw. He's done a lot of sneaky S with me, but this is above and beyond. And he says, so Joe Flipperhead says, basically, do you want me to release this? AKA Nick from Philadelphia says, do you want me to release this? And she says, sure, I've told many people my side. This is the last straw. I would have never and have ever betrayed him. Meanwhile, he has put me in harm's way in a huge way multiple times. So let me just play you. So it got released on X, but then Aidan went on a Spaces. Hold on, let me tell the whole story. So then Aidan went on a Spaces, which is on X. And let me just play some of that. So you just the very beginning, so you get an idea of how strongly he denied ever taping Karen Read. We listened to this last night.
You're on, Aidan.
So who are you? Who is this?
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter about who I am.
Well, it does. You're some fucking kangaroo motherfucker talking about Karen. What the fuck do you know about anything?
Well, I know exactly what you've been doing. So
where are your recites? What fucking recites you talking about?
Huh?
You got no recites. What you talking about?
No recites. I've got
shit up. Let's see them. Let's fucking see your recites.
Hang on, Aidan. You know me. I'm the host. I'm Lily.
Yes, Lily. Hi, Lily.
How are you? I know. I am. Just wanted to. I know you may not know Chris, but you know me. And so I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, no, but this koala motherfucker's up here making shit up, running his mouth, nonsense.
So this is not Joe Flipperhead. This is Chris from Australia and Lily, who were on the Spaces. And they had gotten wind of this. These are all free Karen Read supporters.
See the receipts. I mean, who you talk to Karen Read? What are you talking about? Who the fuck are you?
I'm asking you flat out. Did you or did you not record her phone calls?
I did not. I did not.
So Karen's lying?
What do you talk to Karen Read?
And Aidan says many times in this phone call, like, what, Karen Read? It's a little hard, to know who to trust. Aidan Carney tells a lot of the truth and a lot of lies. And Karen Read, same thing. Sometimes still the truth, but tells a lot of lies also. Got caught in like a zillion lies in her court case.
Like I said,
Karen Read isn't talking to anyone in the media, but she's talking to this koala motherfucker. That's what you're telling me right now.
If you want to, Aidan, like I said, if you want to die on this hill, stand 10 toes
I'm
down.
calling you out because you're making shit up.
I'm not making anything up, Aidan.
What?
I'm not making anything up.
So let's see it. Let's see the fucking evidence. Let's see your communications with Karen Read where she says that. Let's see it.
Hang on, Aidan. Chris, you're going to have to provide, and I knew that, you have to provide receipts.
I've got the...
So then this text message was released, but that wasn't good enough because, the way I see it is that Aidan knows, apparently he played this recording. I didn't really go into this last night, but at one point, Chris from Australia says to Aidan, how was your lunch with Meredith? Because apparently Aidan went out to lunch with his ex-girlfriend, Meredith O'Neill, and played her this recording. So Aidan just says, I don't know what you're talking about with the lunch. I don't know what you're talking about. So that's, I guess that gives you a little bit of a flavor about this. But the way I see it is that Aidan Carney, it has been said that he records every one of his phone calls. And if that's true, he must have a lot of stuff on Karen Read. And if he had sent Karen Read's lawyers, this is my speculation, this tape saying, hey, I got a lot of stuff that I'm holding. And he holds himself responsible for the million, I think it's $1.1 million. Is that what he said? Million plus, let's put it that way, that he raised for Karen Read's defense fund, that it's never really been, we don't really know where those funds went because her lawyers were paid for. She got they were paid for by the second trial. They said they were working. Alan Jackson essentially said he was working pro bono by the second trial. So, it's just curious. Experts do not cost $500,000, $600,000, for one expert. So he was probably saying to them, hey, I got a lot on Karen Read. The way you're treating me is whatever. For whatever reason, he put this out. Like, maybe you want to be nicer to me because I got a lot on Karen Read that I can unload into the world. For some reason, he was reminding them of a particular conversation. And part of it has been leaked. And so he knows during this conversation where he's denying it on Spaces, he knows that Karen Read's not going to want this conversation out in the world. So I thought I thought what was probably going to happen is Joe Flipper is going to release a tiny snippet, and that's what he did. It still sounds like two criminals talking to each other, like two bank robbers. So without further ado, here it is. And he released it sped up too. So you can't really, your brain just doesn't focus on what's being said. So I put it back to regular time, and here it is. Take a listen.
Thank you on December 22nd not to go to her house. And then you brought me in the fucking mud with Tully. Again. Again. Do you have any clue what's on my phone that they took?
Yeah, I went to jail. You didn't. I paid the price for that. You didn't.
Because I didn't do it, Aidan. After I got arrested,
I didn't do anything either.
I don't fuck around with these guys anymore. Because they're dangerous.
Yeah. Karen, do you honestly believe that I've the $1.1 billion is your legal defense fund that you need badly, right? Where the fuck do you think that came from?
You want to listen to it one more time? I do. That's it. But do you want to listen to it one more time? So she goes, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything either. They sound like, don't they sound like Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson? It's not me. It's not me. So you dragged me through the mud with Tully. She goes, do you know how much stuff was on my phone? But she didn't do anything. She's worried about what was on her phone. And we know what was on their phone, all these conversations concerning the rolling rally, which is when Aidan had a rally and moved from witness to witness's house and essentially called them murderers scared their children, harassed them. And Karen Read was behind all of this. We knew that she was, you have to know that if Karen Read and her lawyers aren't saying, call off the dogs, you can support my client, but don't harass witnesses, don't break the law. You notice that was never said. It was only encouraged. And she said she talked to Turtle Boy every day in her mockumentary. Let's listen to it one more time.
Thank you on December 22nd not to go to her house. And then you brought me in the fucking mud with Tully. Again.
So that's probably Lindsay Gattani, I would think she's talking about.
Do you have any clue what's on my phone that they took?
Yeah, I went to jail. You didn't. I paid the price for that. You didn't.
Because I didn't do it, Aidan.
Maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's someone else. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
After I got arrested,
I didn't do anything either.
I don't fuck around with these guys anymore. Because they're dangerous.
Yeah. Karen.
Yeah, the police are dangerous if you're breaking the law.
Do you honestly believe that I've the $1.1 billion is your legal defense fund that you need badly, right? Where the fuck do you think that came from?
Okay. It's always like, I gave you money. You owe me. But I guess Turtle Boy's other behavior, she feels, put her in harm's way. It's interesting how you can be in harm's way if you're law-abiding. Isn't that an interesting? Always with the money. Yeah. Right? So there's that. Just a quickie today, really. But I wanted to ask, really, is Karen Read... So how does this work with two... I consider both Aidan Carney and Karen Read psychopaths. How does this work with two psychopaths? Is it possible? Is it who discards who first? Is Karen Read discarding Aidan Carney because he's no longer useful, the same way that she discarded John O'Keefe? And I wanted to look at that. So all psychopaths are also narcissists. I just wanted to look at narcissistic discard phase. And how it works. This is simple psychology. So the narcissistic discard refers to a pattern of behavior exhibited by individuals with narcissistic personality disorder when they abruptly end a relationship or discard someone who was once a source of narcissistic supply. So, I mean, you can see this. I mean, almost they were like narcissistic supply for each other. This is the last phase of narcissistic love pattern. Narcissistic discard is usually not a peaceful or gentle process. It can be sudden and unexpected, leaving the partner devastated and abandoned. I don't think Turtle Boy is devastated. I don't think he runs that deep. Examples, you can emotionally withdraw, devaluation, criticism, belittle or demean the other person. Silent treatment. This is Karen Read. This is what she did to John O'Keefe, according to Kaylee, the niece. She would give silent treatment. You can see her devaluing and criticizing John O'Keefe in almost every interview, calling him frugal. What were his good qualities? He was frugal. I think she's projecting there. I think she's the frugal one. And not all narcissists act in the same way, so how they discard you can vary. Although the narcissist is done with you and the relationship at this stage, in some cases, they still want to ensure that they leave as the winner. They might blame all of their problems on you. Sounded familiar, right? Making you responsible for their behavior and breakdown of the relationship, right? If you're totally innocent, how does having your phone with the police put you in harm's way? I'd love Karen Read to answer that. Of course, she'll never answer any questions under oath, but she'll do 1,000 softball TV interviews. In other cases, the narcissist may cut off all contact, ignore the other person's attempt to communicate, or move on to a new source of narcissistic supply without regard for the emotional impact on the discarded partner. Because of their lack of empathy and sometimes sadistic qualities, a narcissist will want to see you suffer. They will often try to get as much out of you as they can, example, money, belongings, and even your sanity before departing. I think has Karen Read gotten... So, I mean, this goes to why Karen Read was some of the last text messages between John O'Keefe and Karen Read. She's saying, I can't come out because I'm waiting for this plumber, trying to anger him. And it worked because his dad was a plumber and he would have fixed it for free. And I'm sure it angered John O'Keefe because he couldn't prove whether it was true or not. I doubt he was like looking at her phone. The police never got those text messages, never investigated any Richie the plumber who put the toilet seats on crooked. Did a good job, but he put the toilet seats on crooked and was fixing her hot water issues. But the narcissistic discard phase can be catastrophic, making you realize you have been in an abusive relationship all along. So I just thought that was just reminded me of the way she treated John O'Keefe is the way she's now treating Turtle Boy. Projection and blame shifting are psychological defense mechanisms that narcissists often employ. And we're watching both of them deploy that because they cannot acknowledge they have any shortcomings or make mistakes. They will blame and project onto others. I mean, Karen Read literally said that about John O'Keefe, that he wasn't hanging around the right people, i.e. her. I'd say, but it caused his death. That's what she said. That both of their poor decision makings caused his death. But I was like, talk about victim blaming. If you notice these behaviors or if they become more frequent, discard might be impeding. They turn ice cold. They stopped showing interest with you, and they found a new supply. So Karen Read, is she going to, she's off with her book deals, her film deals. They're making a movie. So this is the new, going to be talking about Amanda Knox's. It's literally a movie. Like they're not even doing documentaries anymore. They're making movies that are just totally, they can go off in a million different directions because it's based on a true story, very loosely based. So Amanda Knox has written her own Hulu, I don't know, fictional movie, very loosely based on Amanda Knox's arrest and trial in Italy, of which she was convicted, and then it was affirmed, and eventually it was overturned after a lot of pressure from the United States. After they illegally threw out all the DNA evidence against her and her boyfriend Raffaele Slecito, but they kept all the DNA evidence against Rudy Gudet while saying it was a group crime, as did every court. So, I mean, that's coming out. I think Elizabeth Banks is going to be playing Karen Read. So does she no longer need Aidan Carney? Narcissists crave novelty and excitement-seeking behaviors in their lives. If they become bored or feel that the relationship is no longer provides the desired level of stimulation that it once did, they may discard you and in search of new experiences or new people who can provide that novelty. And we know that Karen Read was texting Brian Higgins at the end of her relationship with John O'Keefe while pretending that she desperately wanted to stay with him. Well, she was checking out, trying to start relationships with other people. So there's that. Also, hilariously, in Free Karen Read news, new footage has been released. So if you don't know that Karen Read is suing for Brian Tully, Yuri Bukhenik, Michael Proctor for her rights being violated, for the violation of her rights. And Free Karen Read, this is on the JFK show, showed this. Let me just show you this clip. We're totally outraged that Karen Read, there's new footage of her arrest been released, that they're upset because Yuri Bukhenik refused to listen to Karen Read without her lawyer present. Her lawyer didn't want her to give an interview, but she wanted to. And Yuri Bukhenik did the right thing and preserved her Fifth Amendment rights not to incriminate herself. And they're all up in arms. So here's on Twitter, that girl T writes, on another note, JFK show posted this footage of Karen Read flat out telling Yuri Bukhenik that she wanted to tell her story without her lawyer, and he refused to listen. Excuse me. What cop refuses to get a suspect's story? He knew she was going to talk. Oh, is now Karen Read a suspect? I thought she was a dupe. He knew she was going to talk about the McAlberts. Give me a break. And tell her side, but they didn't want to hear it. Well, why didn't Karen Read tell her story in court where it really matters? Why didn't she get on the stand? They're not thinking. I mean, he did the right thing. This is the exact opposite of a violation of her rights. Take a listen to this.
Just say it's yes or no about asking any questions. Again, we're not asking you any questions. And you understand what I've read to you. Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me now?
Can I have my lawyer with me, like you said?
He said, do you wish to talk to me now? She said, can I have my lawyer present? Guess who cuts her off?
We're not going to be questioning. So you can have your lawyer tomorrow in court. But as
Bukhenik comes right in, we're not going to question. You can have your lawyer tomorrow in court. Now watch this.
I said we're not going to be questioning you. and honoring your lawyer's wishes from before, we do not wish to talk to you. So
you just said you'd glad to hear my story.
Yeah, with your lawyer present. Yesterday, your lawyer said he didn't want you to talk without a lawyer. So we're not going to, if Bukhenik had let her talk, Free Karen Read would have been up in arms about how they made her talk, they forced testimony. This same thing, speaking of Amanda Knox, when she was just a witness, not even arrested, a witness in her case, she came along to be questioned just as a witness. And she came along because her boyfriend was being questioned. And they all told her to go home. She said, no, I want to stay here. And then they said, well, as long as you're here, could you answer a couple questions? And then she complained about it forever. They questioned me for hours on end, which was not true. It was only a couple hours before her boyfriend took away her alibi, and she started to blame her boss as soon as her boyfriend took away her alibi.
But your lawyer wouldn't want you to tell
a story. You just said that like.
But your lawyer wouldn't want you to tell. Okay, so there'll be a time.
Your lawyer wouldn't want you to tell. Yes, he would, she says.
She said it.
Place for that. Okay, we cannot question you because you are being represented.
Right. Your lawyer trumps you. Unless your lawyer's there with you while this is happening and he lets it go on. This is so I just love that Free Karen Read is up in arms over this. And this does not look good for her civil suit. If it actually happens. When is this paperwork going to drop with her suing people civilly, where she wants to be a plaintiff? She wants to be a defendant and a plaintiff in the O'Keefe civil suit against her. So she while she's defending herself, her lawyers want her to sue everybody else in the same case. Just the same old Karen Read point elsewhere.
It was very clear that we're not to question you.
So you hear the story outside of his presence, but not in his presence.
No, we're not. I don't want to hear the story because
I thought you said you did.
No, we're not going to question you. If you feel like you want to talk, you can talk all you want. We're just not going to question you. Okay?
Why wouldn't you want to question her?
Right. If she wants to freely, spontaneously make spontaneous admissions, she's free to do that. But they can't question her.
I mean,
you understand? Do you see what just happened? She was trying to tell the story right there.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. There's the story. He doesn't want to hear it. Why is a state trooper, a homicide detective, investigating a Boston police officer's death, saying we don't want to hear your story? How do you know that she's not going to admit to it all? You got a confession.
And then you have a confession you can't use. That's what you have. You start asking questions and you have a confession you can't use. And then you might even have a lawsuit for violating her rights. Her right to stay silent if you questioned her without a lawyer. If a lawyer made a statement the day before, that's how the law works. I am shocked in the comment section about how poorly the Free Karen readers know this case and their assumptions about this case, the actual facts of this case. I mean, I do not have time to refute occasionally I'll put in something in the comment section, but I do not have time. I mean, it would be a full-time job to refute every ridiculous claim or not. It's not all ridiculous. Sometimes it's just misunderstood. They misunderstood the evidence in my comment section.
Like, so you already know what happened. You know they did it. Wouldn't you want her confession?
No, you wouldn't want her confession. I mean, just a minute knowing of the law would know that you do not want her confession there. I just found that hilarious. And doesn't, hey, Maestro. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? I mean, everything's a violation of Karen Read's rights. I mean, this is, she's on tape. They're treating her very well. I mean, they're doing Karen Read a favor. I mean, how many times did Karen Read, I love how they pretend she has one story. Her story changed from Jen McCabe to Chris Albert to Brian Albert to in the basement to the garage to the anyone but Karen Read. She's going to be caught in a zillion lies. It doesn't register.
She did it?
I mean, a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest.
Of course.
So obvious.
I don't think they paid attention to the testimony. I think they only paid attention to the defense testimony, which is a problem. You got to listen to both.
So you know she didn't do it. So you don't need her to talk because you know who did it, but you're putting it on her anyway. So that shows guilt. Is that an admission of guilt? It's early.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Enough. You get the point. Enough with that. So it doesn't look good for her civil suit, that piece of tape. Yeah, I don't know how she would go forward. Yeah, it does sound like a bluff, doesn't it? But they got to put in something. I mean, how is Karen Read going to get out of this? I mean, she doesn't have the helpful judge she had before. How is she going to start pointing the fingers elsewhere? I'd be curious to know how civil law is different than criminal. I mean, I know how it's decided is different, but how it's tried is different. And I do not think this judge is going to let in all the stuff that Judge Canoni let in, which was absurd, totally absurd. I mean, the dog bite stuff was absurd. No dog DNA, no sign of it ever. I mean, that was ridiculous. It just wasn't based on anything. It was so much of that was lost with that judge. So yeah, that is really, does anybody have anything else to say? That's the tape. I don't know how free Karen Read's going to go forward. I mean, the other element of narcissistic discard is the hoovering back up. Is she going to hoover Aidan back up when she might need him? But, in some ways, if this goes forward in the time period that it does, by the time that her civil trial goes, she's going to have this movie out, this book out, a big press splash. So then she'll be poisoning the jury in her own way with that stuff. I mean, Massachusetts is just seeped in free Karen Read propaganda. So, I mean, I don't know if she really needs Aidan Carney anymore to win her civil case. She may just win it on what she's learned about innocence fraud, tainting the jury with her own propaganda that she's produced, her book and her movie. I think there's more of the phone call we just haven't heard yet. For sure. I don't think they're going to release it because it's probably pretty damning. This was released by Sean on the Gulf. That's where I found it. But if more comes available, I will definitely be playing it. It's going up in my shorts. I've been doing a bunch of shorts. I don't know if you guys have been checking them out. Of my interview with Brendan Kane, and I'll be putting this up on a short in about 25 minutes. So Yeah, I don't think they can release the whole thing, because if they release the whole thing, it's not going to make Karen Read look good. They released just enough to say it existed. And probably the whole thing is pretty damning, which is why Aidan felt like he could bluff and say, produce it, release it. He's like, Karen Read's not going to want that out in the public domain. She'll never give you the okay, Nick, a.k.a. Joe Flipperhead, to release that. Tater loves the shorts. So glad. Jennifer Ray says, hold on one second. I hope law enforcement gets into her phone and downloads it so we can see what's on there. I don't know. And I'm so skeptical about any kind of federal investigation or et cetera, or the success of that, or the success of Aidan Carney's charges going forward. And actually, the chances of him being convicted of anything, I think, are very low. That's my feeling on it. So yeah, airing their dirty laundry would be hurting herself. So they sped it up so you can't really focus on anything. All you hear is just sort of anger. I'm glad, Ruth. And they just released a tiny bit of it where they're both saying they didn't do anything. I mean, it's like kids. Like, when people get arrested, they always scream out, but I didn't do anything. That's what I hear here. But I didn't do anything. Right? This has been such a propaganda campaign, an innocence fraud, such a successful innocence fraud campaign, maybe one of the most successful I've ever seen. Pre-trial. I mean, they did this all pre-trial, and I think we're going to see more of it. I mean, it works on two ends. One, we've had years of wrongful conviction, innocence fraud, propaganda on our media it's on Hulu, it's on Netflix, it's on every channel. ABC let the Innocence Project lawyers produce their own propaganda for two convicted killers. I mean, there's so much media that potential jurors have consumed by the time they become jurors that the defense already has an advantage. And we've seen a lot of acquittals lately, very serious cases. So that's what I have for today, guys. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this episode. That really helps. Thank you to everyone who's Janet Gardner. Thank you for sharing these episodes. I really appreciate it. Support the channel. Links are in the description. Buy me a coffee, Venmo, or Patreon. All great ways to support the channel. I will be back very shortly with more true crime content. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for hanging out and listening.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown.